and you probably put 4Glory in that same sort of conversation with those kind of teams. So knowing how one-sided it's been for them in the qualifier, you'd have to imagine in the main event it could be something similar.
Absolutely. As we get to our first map up of Inferno, the pistol round, which we'll see the Sinners start on the CT side. They've got the defuse kit over on Zedco with a double flash involved here. No util for the 4Glory camp. Want to take straight Angels to try and win out this opening round.
For Sinners, just taking quite a few players up to that top banana presence. Very quick in for the T side. And Oscar's hearing all of this information.
Jump face looking for contact, having a wrap in against him. It will be the opening kill for Kindo as he finds B-Stick to kick things off. Oscar spots out that bomb carrier, rotating in towards that B side. Going to run out towards brackets, though. He may be in for a bit of a surprise. He does see one player at least. May have seen that second man as well. D falls forward to try to challenge him, and he gets that kill in. 2 casualties sustained by Sinners, and Collins inserting himself out towards Fountain. Zedco can deal with him and trade things back. And meanwhile, Shock sees the inbound execution towards that B side, at least on one individual's part. The bomb's going to make its way into an open A play.
A decent read for Sinners to read that wraparound into CT Spawn. 4Glory getting so much map control. Zedco at least taking the fight out from Library brings it back to a 3v3, and 4Glory starting to lose their advantages now.
He's doing all he can to bring this back to a relatively competitive stance. One of the high HP players here for the Sinners side at 62 points of health, nearly Neofrag to get involved at 100 as well, and all 3 players will form up to get into the site. Zedco's the man with the kit. He's lacking in the Kevlar department. And here comes a wrap in from Kindo, missing his shot. Eventually does catch Zedco, and Shock can trade back on the site. Meanwhile, to a 2 versus 2. He's such low HP that it's an easy kill for AVN. And Neofrag now got to pick up that kit, work into the site, gets a headshot back in a 1 versus 1. Sees that next player, sees where the bomb is, taps it, tries to force Kindo forward here, and Kindo's going to give him exactly what he wants for the headshot and the defuse and the pistol for Sinners.
Oh, that is class coming through for Neofrag. As soon as he picks up the kit, he knows he's got the advantage in that situation. Thinking about sticking it, no, I'll tap it, draw the fight into the open. And 4Glory, they have got to be so disappointed with themselves. They've got a 5v3, they've inserted a lurk of Collins into that CT position out from Arch, and they still lose the round. Kindo getting a couple of kills on the wrap, out from that from the long position, not getting into the bomb site itself. That round, it should have been there for the Serbians.
Yeah, nice recovery for the Sinners. A great stance here. It was set up with an early start here for the CT side. Of course, a 5v3 disadvantage, and really goes to show how good the Sinners can be here. Real solid start for them, and the guns are back in for 4Glory, of course. Got that bomb plant, AKs and Galil's out. The Eagles on 2 individuals, already tagged up on Collins' part, so not ideal to the start.
You will find that when you start facing off against top-end competition, you'll get punished for advantages and for mistakes. So many times, if you start sleeping that you've got a couple of man advantages, you can just get traded back so quickly, and that's what Sinners are able to do. Neofrag with a great clutch to get that bomb defused. Now, with that bomb going down, it does allow a force-up. Damage has been done to Collins pretty early into the round. Very passive for Sinners. They're not getting any eyes into the bracket's control, not really taking that top banana pressure either.
AVN did spot one individual, going to smoke off Moto, try to force Zedco away. A gap on the left-hand side of that smoke, which could be utilized by Zedco, but he's let AVN cross out to Archers, thinking he might be playing passive. This could be the perfect flank angle for that AK. Sinners have themselves set up over on the boost bot on the flower pots, 35 to the clock. Zedco will get caught. There's going to be that kill for AVN. And now execution can come through towards that A site, but they're still pressing the issue here. Time is running out for 4Glory.
Oh, the bomb getting dropped. They need to get this trade back in quickly. There's still a player out to the site itself for Shock, playing in from pit. If he could drop that bomb again, waste some further time. Rotation's coming in from Banana relatively late. Shock doing as much damage as possible, and now the bomb site gets overwhelmed. This probably just have to be a save call, really, for Sinners.
Yeah, they're backing off to save that M4 in particular. The SMG, the B-Stick, is going to be a bit more of a sacrificial weapon. He'll go play exit frags. Very nice recovery from 4Glory to get themselves right back into control here. 1-1 on that board, and Sinners, well, not really much that they can do about this here. A bit of an awkward stance on the rotations, especially. You mentioned the late rotate back in from Banana, leaving their last man on the A side just completely isolated there. Almost dropping that bomb out towards that short position, but even then it probably could have been recovered with how much time was left of the clock. And again, good stuff for 4Glory. We'll lose one AK. That's something for B-Stick to maintain control of. A little bit extra firepower going into their own force buy round.
Well, impressive round from AVN, honestly, because that probably wouldn't have been doable without what he was able to achieve. Just the way that he puts a lurk smoke down, gets into Arch, does not get red on this backstab out from the library position, deals the first player as Zedco, and then just helps them with the trading game. Oscar only finds one out to the apartments, gets dealt with pretty quickly, and then from Pit itself, Shock just 4 players to deal with. Really can't do much there at all. Hope to get at least 1 frag before going down. Yeah, the AK is being saved in. Buy's going to come back on the table for Sinners, and 4Glory not letting Sinners run away with an early lead.
Yeah, small technical pause being called in for the Sinners side. What concerns that might have will yet to be seen. It's currently a decent start here for the 4Glory camp. Again, coming back in, Sinners off the back of that pistol victory. Probably we'll get more information towards the nature of this tech pause in a short few moments' time. And again, there should be a force buy here for Sinners. They're on double eco status. You can see Beastic is already dropping weapons, trying to get as much out as he can. Scout in for Oscar. And Zedco and Shock should be able to invest in as well. Again, it won't be the most amazing buy.
We know that for 4Glory, even though they've played Inferno 6 times on HLTV, they've actually played it a lot in their advanced season. A couple of losses coming through for Tricked and Aura. They got a win over Pact, win over Fnatic Rising, over the Lowland Lions side. So they've been able to get some decent results, some losses to Onyx and 1 win as well. Another one of those Serbian teams that's playing here in the event itself. And just trying to see if they can use that experience for AVN and D, pass it on to some of the young guys. I will say as well, what I do love about the 4Glory sort of team and a lot of the Serbs is that they look like meme machines, don't they? And they could probably do that in Server. I don't know if it's the haircuts. I don't know what the vibe is, but yeah, they look mean.
I mean, partially it's the hair, actually. Yeah, I mean,
it's all, like, they're all like that, though, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's a regional thing there in Serbia. I might have to ask our Serbian friends.
Yeah.
Hit up the boys at Relog and see what they have to say about that. But for now, all we can do is speculate.
Ooh, speculate.
We don't have to speculate on the. I was about to say we don't have to speculate on the DC now because we've seen where the technical issue is for the Sinners side. I'm sure that Shock's got some internet issues
electrical
to
problems?
Resolve. Electrical problems? I don't know. I don't think it'd be electrical problems because it wouldn't take that long for him to DC. Maybe I think there might be like an internet general issue. I'd assume at this particular stage here. So the Sinners will get that resolved there very quickly and hopefully get back into the game just as quickly as well here, Dwayne. But you know, in terms of the start here for 4Glory, they can be relatively happy with what they got in the first couple of rounds.
I can't believe you didn't pick on that. Shock, electrical. Problems, Jay. Come on.
Really? Come on,
Surely
man.
other people would have seen that. But anyway, no. Back and forth. Yeah, I guess the early start, right? It could continue going back and forth. We're just going to keep going in that buy setup where both teams just keep forcing it until someone gets away with a couple of rounds. So even though for 4Glory they bounce back pretty quickly, it's all about being able to convert and get 2 in a row.
Pretty much, you know, that's the main focus for both teams right now. And for Sinners' side, you know, they forced the issue, so they want to try and right back and set their own loss bonus of the T side right back into the fold. I mean, to reset a loss bonus against T side is going to be very important in the early game because we know that the Sinners, we know that the T side economy can get really out of control very quickly. So for them to try and back in already to set the CTs on the back foot in terms of the money game, it's a big win for 4Glory in the early start.
Yeah, and I guess as well for 4Glory, just to being out about trying to lead from the front here on Inferno, try and see if they can apply as much early pressure on as possible. For these guys, this is an opportunity that doesn't come very often. Like, even when I look back at AVN and D over the career, they've all been around sort of the Blue Jays and Level Up and Unicorn and Juggernauts and all these kind of squads that have always sort of been at the low ends level of European Counter-Strike. Yeah, they've been done very well over the last couple of years in the local scene, and I guess now this is an opportunity for some of these regional teams to say, okay, we're doing well regionally, now let's try and step it up. Let's try and see if we can get to the LAN. And for these young squads, that's an opportunity that does not come every day.
Absolutely, and you've got to think as well. You only need like 2 wins to get definitively into that into that top easy. 4. You know, like it sounds easy on paper. Obviously, in practice, it's a lot more difficult in their own right. But you think about the teams that they've got to face off against. Like if they drop down to that lower bracket, they've got Budapest 5 or Infinite Gaming. I'd say against Budapest 5, it's very possible for 4Glory to take a win above those guys. In the next round, you probably have Vista Krakow or Onyx. Maybe those games might be a bit more difficult. But if you pull off an upset in those matches, then there you go. You're going to V4. So for them, you mentioned the opportunity is right. strife there, and it's not the most impossible circumstances to see 4Glory in the top 4. We mentioned how obviously the top 2 position is pretty much dominated by Sinners and Team Fiend, but out of the other 6 that can make it into those last 2 spots, it's very possible for any one of them to be in that position.
Yeah, for sure it is, and it just comes down to who is really delivering the most on the day. That lower bracket round 1 game and continuing forward is going to be tough. 3 best of 3s in a row have got to be won if you do lose your first round, which we've already seen a couple of teams do. Like you said, Budapest 5 and Infinite going down into that position. It's not out of the realm of possibilities that upsets can happen, and even for Sinners and for Fiend, they're coming through as hard hitters and favorite teams. They've still got to be able to deliver when it matters the most, because you get upsetted by one of these teams and your ticket to land gets slightly more difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it is a bit more of a difficult case in terms of the lower bracket run, because obviously that's the second lifeline basically being expended right there. And I guess in that respect, like, some teams are going to have to expect that sort of lower bracket run because of the nature of who they're seeded against in that first round. 4Glory may be one of those squads of their own right. So I look at them and I think that maybe they might have to just focus entirely on doing that lower bracket miracle run and just take this next series on the chin and just get through it, you know?
And another thing, too, that everyone at home can start trying to get the idea of is that when it comes to the first round, it's then difficult to kind of gauge who's going to be playing who. Going forward, though, because the tournament days aren't every single day after one another, in terms of preparation and time to get ready for the next official, they've got 3 or 4 days in some cases. So really, for a lot of these teams, once they get the first round over and done with, you've actually got time to say, okay, we know who our next competitor is going to be. This is how we're going to prep for it.
You got to think as well, for the lower level squads, that actually might be a benefit, because the teams like Fiend and Sinners, they're playing in every tier 2 competition that is under in the tier 2 space right now. So that would be like, what, maybe a match or 2 every single day. Like, that's a lot of Counter-Strike to play out for these guys. And as a result, they won't have enough time, or they won't have a whole lot of time to do all the prep work in that respect. So seeing them and seeing where they're at, seeing their position right here, is that, you know, in terms of the tactics, in terms of what they could do to bring to the table, there's a possibility they might have some aces up their sleeve that we might not be expecting at all.
Well, we know that for Sinners, they've got a very good support staff behind them. They've got a coach of Tom Keek, I think his name is. Used to be a player in the Czech Republican scene, now moved over to a coaching role. They've got Badjo as their analyst, and there was, a couple of clips from them on social media when they were playing in Pro League about how actual staff of the team was really getting excited. So it does seem that for this Sinner side and for 4Glory, development staff and players and I guess members being able to assist in that sort of way outside of the server is going to be very important.
Unfortunately, what was also important is to get these rounds underway, and we're ready to get back into the matchup here between Sinners and 4Glory, and Oscar immediately dives the head of the first player here. Sinners maintain control. Of course, Shock is back in server. He was having PC issues. Maybe you're right about it being electrical problems, Dwayne. Maybe you never know what the issue could be itself. B-Stick making contact here. The AK sees 2 more players here in the apartment. Should be able to deal with them pretty effectively. Smokes down towards bracket, suppressing D. Going to wait for control.
That was excellent for Sinners. The way that Oscar goes aggressive, gets that first pick, they line up in brackets. Notice as well, as soon as that apartments pick comes in, what happens? The smoke goes down at brackets from the long position. So B-Stick, there's no real way that if they are out from second mid, they can swing forward and try and get that trade kill. Bomb now being dropped. This is a simple round for Sinners. Oh, B-Stick even wants more.
Now Xavier, the last man left in a 1-on-5, dealt with by B-Stick. Next is Casualty comes in, a 2-1 scoreline. Their Sinners do put them right back on the back foot for the T sideline. Did see a bit of a DC from 4Glory's side, so it might be a tech issue for their own side of things in a short moment's time. Great shooting again for B-Stick. Such simple stuff, and the adjustment towards the likes of AVN is always going to be easy given the fact he was low HP. But real solid stuff from him, a quadra in that round, and well-deserved frags to his own right.
Yeah, B-Stick's one of those players that I guess because he is the in-game leader and he's got so many talented players around him, you often don't really see that much of B-Stick, because you're always looking at, oh, what's Neofrag doing out on the A side? Oh, what's the AWPer of Oscar doing as well? And B-Stick gets often looked, or overlooked, I should say, in terms of his individual prowess. And in that round right there, he really showed just some straight class. 4Glory giving up so many peaks without really any utility. There was no molly down to that boiler position. There was no flash. It was just so dry.
So simple it felt like at the same time here. 4Glory, a bit of a complex issue in terms of the technical timeout they've got to make here. Again, small DC problems for Sereni this time. It was Shock in the previous round, this time with 4Glory. A few more problems that they also have to sort out. No bomb plant bonus for them either, so money's going to again be a bit of a problem for the T side going forward.
Oh, we saw that with Sereni and AVN coming into the team, they had to make room and get rid of Catalic, which was, what, Nico's third or fourth cousin or something like that. We were trying to find out. Everyone's just related when it comes to the Serbian scene. 4Glory, we've had Collins and Kindo there for a fair bit of time, and some of the more known players coming through in more recent editions of D and AVM. But so far, it's been quite back and forth, and it does give me the feeling, Jay, that it might take us a little while longer to really get an idea of who's going to pull ahead here on Inferno. Yeah,
I mean, they're making it a difficult prospect in their own right here. The Sinners have not quite run away with the early game as what we had initially thought it to have done here. Even so, still solid stuff coming in for the for the boys in that respect. 4Glory can have a bit of glory, if you will, at this stage here, and I think I want to get to that second round and how things played out for the likes of the 4Glory camp, of course. One moment of glory in this early game, and yeah, Sinners just holding down the lead for the time being. Given what we've seen so far in this early game, though, do you think that the back and forth could favour the 4Glory camp?
I don't think it favours anyone, honestly. Just get out of it as quickly as you can, because as soon as you go back and forth, all it's going to take is one round and instantly economy gets reset. So even for 4Glory, yeah, you're going to want to keep forcing up and you want to keep putting pressure on. At some point, you want this to end just so you can actually get rifles in and you can start running out your defaults and running out some of the set plays coming forward for them. And for Sinners, I guess that they'd love to be able to bounce back because they beat Fnatic to qualify to the RMR. They lost to Gorillas the other day, though, in the Eliza Invitational, which was a huge surprise when we know how up and down Gorillas have been. So I guess for Sinners, they also lost to Fiend in the Blast Call. There are moments and opportunities in which they can struggle in some of the upset games. I guess that when you do compare 4Glory up against some of the other teams, it is probably further down the spectrum, but it's still a conversation.
Yeah, it's possibilities. You know, we talk a little bit about how some of the teams can dip off at certain points in the tier 2 space. Like, how many squads have we seen rise to the top end of the scene and then just, you know, fall off the edge of a cliff? That's the big sort of thing. And, you know, maybe Sinners could be that next squad. And maybe it could be Fiend in the next squad. But I think we'll entertain that conversation when we get to that matchup a little bit later on. For now, we've got to focus on this Sinners versus 4Glory matchup. It seems like Sereni is back in the server here. And 4Glory with a little bit of cash in the back pocket. Do they want to go for a force buy here?
It probably comes down to a position of looking at the loss bonus, knowing that Kindo is very low. You can get Dion and AK, you can get Galil's out for pretty much everyone else, get some Deagles as well. Try and force it up and just see if you can tie it up at 2-2. For the Sinners side, just the amount of rifles that have come in, the money still in the reserve isn't that great for them. And 4Glory just hoping to be able to get some sort of results on the board. Again, for them in that Adria qualifier, they had a decent lower bracket final after they lost to Onyx. Dust2 and Nuke got played out there in some quite close affairs. So seeing Nuke potentially come in as map 3 is something that's going to be on the mind of the Serbians.
No strangers to the lower bracket run, if you will. So
yes.
Again, maybe it might not be so much of a bad thing that they're drawing against Sinners here in this early matchup. Knock down early, try to take the run in, eliminate all squads along the way here. Don't have as many difficulties as you're having right now here. We're going to be seeing the fourth round, I should say, come to fruition as 4Glory and Sinners going to get out of their tick issues. Hopefully there are no further DC issues. We'll touch wood on that front. But yeah, Force Investors come out for 4Glory. AK on one, Galil on another. Mac 10 for AVN. Deagle and Tech9. Other than that, the Deagle can strike first. Zedko is first to drop.
And Nade's going to come through, sail over them. Oscar, got to be careful that they don't just push through the smoke flash over the top. Oh, they haven't seen him. Okay, they have now. 5v3.
All important for Kindo now. Neofrag can't trade it back. And Shock up in the apartment. Sees two players. Gets that spray together. Drops the bomb and maintains the advantage now for the Sinners side. Neofrag's got to be a bit careful about this here. As B-Stick starts creeping up towards that short flank. And Shock creeps around towards the apartments. They'll concede the bomb site and the bomb plant. But again, the advantage sits the favour of Sinners on the retake.
They need a pick back quickly, and that doesn't help at all. Aggressive coming through. You can understand why Sereni's got to do that, right? He's lost his teammate, 1v3 situation. He plays on the side, he's a dead man. He's got to look to try and create a fight, look to get an opportunity, and just does not happen at all. Great sequence in from Shock. And for a moment there, you really started to believe that that round could have been 4Glory's. They have a 5-on-3. Shock, though, just getting so many kills.
And positioning himself right here with a double face against Sereni. Finding Collins, and then just both players swinging together to allow Shock that quadra. Real nice stuff there from the Sinners. And again, you mentioned the coordination, the cohesion, the chemistry that these guys will have, having played together for so long. And you can see it all there. That was a perfect amalgamation of all the positives that we drew from Sinners in the pregame.
Yeah, 4Glory will be disappointed at that one, even frustrated knowing the advantages they had. And it just reminds me of the pistol, the way that they were able to get a couple of opening advantages, a couple of picks, and then just everything falling out of control pretty quickly. And now coming through for just this Deagle round, we're seeing some upgrades in terms of the Kevlar for Sereni. Really, though, 1 or 2 picks is probably at maximum what they're going to find. Bomb plant's going to be difficult too.
Oh, they do catch Oscar, though. That's surprising. Orb now in the hands of the man. Taken back by Zedko, seeing the player that's behind him of D. Smoke on towards that long entrance will stop him from getting at it, and eventually just forces forward that bomb, gives it up to the CT side. Now this should be pretty easy mop up now for the Sinners. Crossfire on long, make sure no one from 4Glory can get back there. Hold out B stick here towards the banana position to ensure there can't be a backstabbing past that B site. Take phase when necessary, get the kills in. Hand cannon's not quite as successful as that opening frag, and that one casualty on Oscar will be the only casualty for Sinners.
And do you reckon we can make a soundboard, Jay, of the same noises we make at the same time? Because that was a great shot coming through there from the Deagle. It was mopped up pretty quickly after the fact, though. And even for Shock, just the way that he peeks on the short position, gets the read. Okay, there's probably a bait set up. They're probably going to try and swing me for the apartments. And all the AKs stand in play.
I love the notion that we could just automate our jobs by pressing a button and then just cue our reactions as appropriate. No reactions there for Sereni. You get that one frag, almost that second towards Oscar. Collins fights on B-Stick, but the sprays are a little bit too far off for the AKs. And a 2-for-1 trail overall for Sinners. A couple players tagged up pretty heavily here for them. No casualties other than Zedko to start.
Yeah, they're very quick to engage. They don't like slowing out. The defaults, great shot coming through from Oscar out to that boiler position. And 4Glory, they're brute forcing a lot of these duels. They're quite dry on utility. They're trying to get aggressive. Flash over the top. Oscar even escapes. That's got to be a kill there for Kindo.
You can see how that flashbang affected things, though. You mentioned the dry faces all the time. Kindo couldn't get the kill, you're right. But it did look better on his face. It did look more confident on his face. And eventually he will catch Oscar. Shock's there for a quick trade. Again, double peek from Sinners on short. Indeed, a 1 versus 2 faced in by Shock. The headshot, not even a challenge to put up. And there will be a 5th round now for the CT side.
4Glory are showing us some moments. They just need to get some more consistency going forward. The aggressive play out from the mid position, it looks decent. You've done damage. It brings back to a 4v4. And then we're just seeing a play up to the top of the broker ball towards Banana. No support whatsoever. Gets dealt with extremely quickly. And 4Glory still only 1 round on the board. At least this eco has got more behind it. It's got some Kevlar and some util with the nades.
Only 1 flash, though, for D. So in terms of the brute force approach, that might not be the advisable strategy for 4Glory. Nade stacks in towards the top of Banana, tagging B-Stick to 53. Evaded most of those HEs, though. Yeah, Frag had no such damage done towards him. These players going to continue playing towards the aggressive positions. Flash in to allow B-Stick to swing. Does get caught off for it. Neo Frag gets a kill alongside Oscar's nade. They do lose a couple of those players, though. So again, damage being done by 4Glory. Oscar with a reface. Trying to look for the next player on the shoulder bait. Good shot, Kindo. Now left in a 1 versus 3. Good efforts here for 4Glory, but Sinners have just got their number. And even though the casualties are pretty frivolous, still able to maintain control of the round.
It's more damage coming through. And when you think about the investment that really comes in, they've got to be happy with where they are. Is this winnable, though? 1v2, Smoke can go down across. If you can deal with Zedko out to the back of the site quite wide, he's hugging the wall out in Nubox itself.
You can isolate Zedko, so I wouldn't be shocked if he's able to do that. But again, this dry face, a style that we're seeing from 4Glory. Kindo's not going to give the information up, but it just means that it could be a crossfire lock. Zedko just takes that swing in the end, shoots him in the back with his back turn. Had to focus on only one side of the site, only one side of the map, and ultimately with his back turn at the wrong place at the wrong time, giving up the ghost on that respect. So 6-1, Sinners in control. That was an eco for 4Glory, though, so 3 players worth of damage can be respectable. You can see how that affects the economy game. Beastic on 300 bucks on savings. The rebuy in for 4Glory, sitting on the max loss bonus. An opportunity now to try and take control, but again, they've got to get through Sinners, and they give up a little bit too much info, allow Beastic that opening kill.
Now, 4Glory quite hesitant to push through that smoke itself. They do get the trade back, leave Oscar alone up from that top of banana position with the AWP, going to get onto the broken wall, and now it just comes down to how do they deal with him. They've only got 1 flash.
Orpa takes face in on Kindo, gets his frag together, and he reflashes back with a counter smoke. Blind firing with a secondary incendiary at Bay. Going to call in that backup. The contact position on the broken wall, like you mentioned, did see at least 1 player, probably aware of the other men that are out here. Didn't see the jump face, did catch Collins up close. The M4's got to get his trades together for Neo Frag, and he only finds 1. With AVN getting his trade, it's a 2v2. The bomb can go down to the site.
This is looking very promising for 4Glory. Get that bomb down. Yeah, the HP numbers are going to be affected. D has got to hit this shot out on CT.
Clock starts working in, and the shot does connect here for the AWP. All on the last. All on the smoke, and the full set of utility with the AK. The fuse kit is on him as well. If you can put that smoke up towards Coffins, in theory, you can go for a ninja. Puts it on towards the flashbangs that are across. AWP still not seen. Shot checking all angles. Has not checked new box. A resmoke can go back down here. Siphons off that bomb position, but still not ready for D. A triple up for him as the York wins 4Glory a second.
A great round in from D, and it just came down to slight overextensions out there from CT Spawn. AVN starting to get involved. D just playing out from Nubox, winning some very important couple of kills. And for Sinners, the economy will be able to allow a buyback. They will get the AWP forward. They're being tested in these last few rounds, though.
Yeah, they are. Very awkward time for the Sinners camp. Again, it's not quite the most one-sided and confident affair as we thought it would be coming into this matchup. I mean, still a 6-2 scoreline, so it kind of is. I don't think it gives the true story here. I don't think it shows exactly what 4Glory have been able to do and what the potential they've had in these rounds. Walks in for Sereni. Set up with the defaults, hoping to catch that first player at the main cross. Smokes in, ready to siphon them off here for Neo Frag, and Incendiary instead goes back out. It might stall the T-side players for a little bit of time. Footsteps heard, counter utility inbound for the CTs. Backups on the way at a third rotator as well. It's a fast execution for 4Glory, stalled. Not cancelled just yet though, they're still coming in towards that B side. Neo Frag's hunting for a gap on a smoke. He's escaped the new box position, hoping that 4Glory might overextend. Collins might give him what he wants here. 2 players can line up, but they barely hold down the trades here. Collins getting 2 B-stick trades with 3 versus 3, and a swing out for D makes them out advantage for 4Glory.
Oh, he's getting very aggressive. Moving forward, doesn't quite hit the shot. It comes back to a 2v2, and Shock is able to drop the bomb. Avian's now got a clutch, and the AWP is posted on the angle.
Over-aggressive out in the open. The bomb is out in the vision of the AWP, and AVN knows he's got to challenge it. He knows he's got to take directive face. Can he find the shots in? Shots repositioning, and a tap does come through. 1v1. B-Stick has a HP advantage, though. 25 for AVN, 100 for the SMG, and 20 seconds to the clock for the bomb to go down. Tapping it once, trying to force him out of oranges. Looks towards Coffins and pulls the bomb out the second time at the wrong timing as well. Well played there, well timed from B-Stick. The Sinners will find 7.
And I'm only speculating in this sort of position, Jay, but I look at that situation for D and think he got 2 kills in the last round, won the 2v2 post plant. He's now got a first. He's trying to make a play. He's thinking to himself, I'm the playmaker. I'm aggressing out from City Spawn. If I hit this kill and get this pick out to construction, round's done. Instead, though, why are they pushing forward in that? It's a 3v2 advantage. Those are mistakes you can't be making against a side like Sinners, because so quickly, as soon as that pick fell down, then a couple of kills started coming through for Sinners. It's a 2v1. AVN's got to try and do absolutely everything to bring that round back, and he's just not able to get the clutch together.
Every time 4Glory take a step forward, every time they find that opportunity to get a decent round on the board, Sinners are able to respond to it. Really, really solid as a result of that. Rifles the AKs or nades on Sereni, tanked by 2 directly at his feet. 19 points of health, another solid start for Sinners. Tactical timeout taken by 4Glory, not off to the bets to starts here in the follow-up round. Indo does find the kill on shot, but Oscar's there for a quick response.
That's exactly what they're looking for, that quick trade in. Rotations out from the B side, a slow flash and incendiary down to that brackets position is going to slow down the default in terms of map control being gained. And now for 4Glory, they can start moving up in towards some sort of take a banana. Oscar with this AWP is still staying aggressive.
Flashing his way over towards that mid position in case there is anyone out from the T side line. His AWP's going to be highly pressured, so close against the T side. He's going to drop out towards Pit as a result. He knows that you can win a better fight from the site looking into the apps. Doesn't see anyone as of right now, though. Two players working back in towards mid. This has got to be an A split.
It all just comes down to when do the T's getting over the top. He's not going to get any information with him hung in the corner. When do they run out, though?
Oh, there's barely a pixel given up. I thought he had spotted the man, but not to be. Kill found. Meanwhile, drop the bomb out towards brackets. Now Inma's been called in by the CT side. And Zedko still with the second fight. Not quite that third, but D has low HP and Serenity does too. Oscar with an easy shot to the head. It's a 1-on-3 now for the last AK, 20 seconds, and the CC just knows his options. He can rotate back towards Banana, covered off by B-Stick. Two players on the A side to defend. Including that AWP that still sits there. One man out in the open, still towards Graveyard. Swing in. Shot missed, actually. Zeddy can get that one frag, but Neo frag drops right back in and gets his kill.
And 4Glory are looking decent. They're doing well with the opening advantages, with the map control. It's the late round where they're really struggling. What a great first fight that was coming out from Kindo. AVN just desperate for a pick back, desperate for an advantage and space to be created out from brackets to start getting information on that city side. Even Oscar has just got that support with a teammate close by on A itself. 4Glory, it's just buy eco, buy eco, buy eco. They're not getting many bomb plants.
That's the key sort of hindrance at this stage. It's not the fact they're losing the rounds, the fact they're losing them without getting the money bonus here. They're just relying on the max loss. SMGs up in the apartments to get their own money together for the Sinners side. Should be easy pickings for the most part. Zedko does get taken down. Shock's staying in with his own response. And Collins can deal with the two SMGs. So 3 versus 3. Now the rifle's up to take the stage.
This is an unfortunate call for 4Glory, because if they would have got those 2 picks and just ramped up and gone quite aggressive into A, they would have had it completely opened up. Instead, they've slowed it down. Boost coming through from Oscar. Gets the first out for the apartments. Doesn't quite get the second.
Nades onto him and his teammate. Should do some pretty decent damage, but B-Stick comes up against the flank in towards that short control. Collins has got to force forward, misses his first Eagle shot, and that's the only shot he's going to get a chance to hit. Oscar makes it a double and makes it a 9th round for the Sinners. A half buy for 4Glory that again gets no plant. At least can build to a decent rifle round, but this is starting to run away from them, and this is the fear that I mentioned during the pre-game, is the fact that, yes, it's their own map pick, but Sinners has stomped lower-tier teams on Inferno.
Yeah, for sure. And pressure is going to start building for 4Glory, knowing that if they want any chance of upsetting on this series, it has to be map 1. It can't be Ancient at all. And leading by the front on this T side just hasn't happened. Serini, he's got a magnet to these nades. It seems like every single round he lurks out to logs, he's just getting hammered by the HEs.
He's always facing up at the right position for those HEs to go back towards that arch corner, that left-hand side. Then is just happy to continue playing it that way because they are getting the HP advantage. He's going down really quickly and efficiently, and the counter utility to continue to come in for the CT side would drive the T's out of there. They'll start to recognize there's probably an A hit on for them now. Flash is coming over. Oscar going to wait with a passive position. No one's watching long. They will try and get there now for B-Stick. Smoked off, still forcing forward, and will face out completely dry. Allows Kindo a simple frag alongside the flashes in for AVN and Collins to get the kills on Oscar and Shock. And just like that, 4Glory explode with confidence. A 2v5 probably is saved now for the CT side.
Just mass mistakes coming through there for Sinners. They've realized that their A players are getting trapped in. Well, we need assistance in terms of the rotations. And you just see, what, B-Stick running through the arch smoke without a flash. And you can't really be making a play, because as soon as they're watching that, you're just an instantly dead man. Oscar getting completely blind, looking back out to that motor position, and even hunting down Neofrag.
They can get him out of play. That'll be a massive hindrance to Sinners' economy. It's still not looking great despite the number of rounds they've won in a row here. 2 kills for him, trying to look for the AWP as well. D's going to switch to the AK to try and win the fight, and eventually wears him down on the ammo, so there's no real magazine left for him to reload to. Dan and Barry, there's all 5 drop for Sinners, an all-important round for 4Glory, because they can still bring it back from this.
Yeah, maybe. It comes to them.
I'm not saying that they're going to bring back the matchup, but look, 9-3 can still go to 9-6, especially with the buy for Sinners. They're going hard eco here.
Yeah, money's light. Zedko's double eco status, but he's the only one that is, so there's no point forcing it up. Just take the harsh eco and buy into the next. For 4Glory, it's about just finding consistency and start working with momentum and making sure they're not losing a lot of players to this eco at all. There isn't even upgraded pistols, there's only util.
Flash and HG for Oscar. Full bracket stack for Sinners, hoping the crossfire works out well for them. I think they're getting info towards that banana position though, and they're going to hard rotate back in towards the B site. I think they might have made the right call here. 4Glory is starting to prod at the B play.
Yeah, they've got to be careful not to run the clock too low for 4Glory. Sereni's being able to clear out sort of the dark and first Orange's position just with the Molotov itself. So many CTs on the other side of the smoke though.
Flashing, allow them all to make their way in. Sereni gets 2, 3, 4 frags. Actually, Avian steals one away. And they do find one kill for their trouble. Nice stack idea there from the Sinners side. Not able to work out more than the firepower, which is way too different. Again, I love it. The flashbang thrown, you can see what they were doing. The problem is that no one thought that Sereni had crossed. And that led to their own demise. Pretty nice and easy. So, fourth to the board, 4Glory. Sinners back on the guns.
It looks decent. You've got Zedko again. He was the one that was on double eco status, so he's going to be the lowest. So he's going to have an MP9. You get the AWP out for Oscar, rifles in terms of the M4s for everybody else. And for 4Glory, they're actually going quite aggressive towards Banana.
Sinners have one player in to try and hold it, but Collins gets both him and his backup. Straight up a 4 versus 3, 4Glory. Hold control, Zedko with the SMG swing, gets that one pick back to a 3 versus 3, keeps control, but now needs his backup. They're so far away. This SMG is the only thing that's holding, but he still finds a kill back onto D. Looking for the next player of AVN who can trade it together. Re-smokes on, are going to siphon off the CT rotators, but AVN's also siphoned off from his own backup here. They need to win this fight, and AVN does.
Just tries to fake out, get the bomb, not go down. Oscar being drawn out from the city spawn, gonna get re-smoked. Kindo's got the cross, the AWP looks out, wins that first fight. All now down to the glass!
Oh!
Oscar's gonna win it! What a sequence coming through! A massive round out for Oscar!
Massive! Absolutely huge for the AWP. After a double up from Collins started things off. Great efforts from Zedko. Got himself his own double involved. And then the AWP just set for Glory in a 1-on-2. Who would have thought that this play would have worked out as efficiently and as appropriately as it did? What a pickup, man. Oscar's just great.
Yeah, he is, and it took him a while to come back to the local scene. He was playing over in Hellraisers and Mouse and Sprout. He was on these international teams for pretty much his own career. He only started out in the Czech Republican scene in the way early days, and now he's coming back. He's coming back in a big way.
Sinners could still make it 11-4 at the turn of the half, the CT side. Will still hold a lead above the 4Glory camp in this half. Slow things down off the back of that very explosive style of retake. 4Glory just back to their passive stances, held out towards mid for now.
They're slapped into reality after that last one. Quick B exec coming through. Could be able to deal with the close-in sinking player. Sereni going very aggressive, dealing with the first. Needs to follow up. Doesn't quite happen. Great entries out to B.
And Kindo deals with the backstabbing individuals. The SMG of shock not quite as great. So Oscar now left in a similar clutch retake scenario. A 1v4 with the AWP. Seen there with the cross. Does fight on towards D. Get that kill. Flanked in at construction, however. Got to be wary of what's coming his way. A re-smoke on towards that cross. Incendiaries will indicate that they are out there at the coffin's angle. Oscar has a defuse kit, but he's got to get all these picks. He's got a little bit of utility actually that could work out for him. But Kindo creeping close, jump face! It switches out to the AKs. Kindo can catch him at the halftime. 10-5 up for Sinners. They look great going into their T side, which we'll see at the back of this short break. 10-5 up for the Sinners as we get towards their T-side start of things. Already in the thick of it here as 4Glory look for their way into this matchup, trying to recover off the back of what was a respectable half for them. Going under their defensive side, can they still make it close against the Sinners?
Even the information game could be misread. Serini trying to get baited aggressively up from that top banana position, peeking forward, dealing onto Neofrag. Avian's going to hide.
Gonna peek in on the back of the flashback contact, get the headshot in of Oscar. Neofrag tagged up as well. A 3-on-3 that gives 4Glory a slight HP advantage, and they're going for a similar aggressive play in the apartments, allowing Kindo a straight shot on B-Stick to take him out of play. Neofrag on his way up. Zedko's going to try to deal with his player. Rotations are also inbound from the B site, so the site itself is clear for now. The bomb plant can go down without issue. The retake will be the big problem.
Yeah, holding on to that molly could actually be quite intent to come for the rest of the round itself. The timing, Neofrag's getting aggressive. Collins eventually cuts him off.
And it's all on Zedko in the 1 versus 3. Sees the jump face, and AVN is accurate and efficient with his run boost play to get 4Glory in with an all-important pistol win.
Well, that was quite cheeky coming out for AVN. Very well done to get the round together. Sinners, they got the bomb down. They'll look to try and force it up into the next. And with that pick coming through for Neofrag, you think to yourself, oh, 4-on-3. They can start making their way into the B side. Perfect flash out a peek from the sandbags. And Kindo, that's not an easy shot at all to try and hit when they're running up from mid.
Brilliant stuff. Absolutely brilliant. Again, real solid for 4Glory to get right back into control and continue the momentum that they ended off the half with. Sinners did get a bomb plant, so there is a force buy, and it's similar back and forth in the early half we saw from that opening. And Sinners put 4Glory on a definitive back foot.
Now, re-smoked out to the bracket position means that this default's going to have to run out for slightly longer. 2 players up on short side, and they're going to rotate a 4th player back over to A. What is going on here with 4Glory? They have nowhere to be now.
The gamble stack on a full rifle force buy. This is very curious. Martin finds the kill. Collins with his frag. AVN seeing what else is going down towards this bracket position. Takes his space continuously. Gets a double up looking for his triple. And it looks like Sinners have been played for fools right here. That bomb's committing. And now if Kino can get this pick back, that will be enough to end the round right there and then. Deagle and B-Stick 1v4. Impossible clutch.
And they didn't even know that there was more CTs out for that Brax position. Great swing coming out to the end there, annihilating the round. And I wonder if that was just the preparation coming through on Inferno up against Sinners, is knowing that on the anti-force buy rounds that they don't take banana control very early on. Okay, let's just stack 5 players on A then.
Brilliant stuff there again from 4Glory to deal with them, and it's such a weird sort of strategy coming in. It's so weird to see a stack on a rifle round. Eagles P250, Sinners now on a definitive eco here. A couple of players investing. You can see Oscar's bought the head Kevlar with his Deagle, but Zedko falling effective, efficient. Collins picks up the starting frag, and the nades continue to pour in damage.
Sometimes risk is what's needed, and we saw that in the last. This one's now just getting mopped up. Neofrag does get 1 Deagle shot out from that banana position itself. Need to deal with Serini on the crack angle, just trying to see if he can fade back. But there's actually a chance he can get a bomb plant.
Smoke to the cross, Molotovs in, Neofrag, and a smoke off that coffin position as well. Like gap in that smoke to utilize for AVM, but they're going to walk ahead of it, and Sinners actually catch that player off guard. 2v2 sprays back from Kindo, can get it together, and Neofrag's got to clutch it all together, not expecting D to be so close in such a short amount of time. So they sneak a bomb plant into the eco, that'll get a little bit of cash going for Sinners, and damage being done to 4Glory. Not terrible in the grand scale of things, but that was winnable for them.
I'm looking at that saying that's shocking, honestly. When you think about the investment coming forward, there should be no way in which they're giving that much respect coming forward. AVN just working with the edge of the smoke in on CT, being so tunnel visioned about it that they don't realize there's an aggressive play. 3 kills and a bomb plant, that's very strong from Sinners. And for 4Glory, that could come back to bite them, because you've got, what, 3 players that are under 2 grand in terms of the economy flow.
Nades in, Serini watching, ready to receive. Kindo with his AK trying to aggression against the CT side. It's Neofrag that finds that opening kill. Mix things off in the midst of the chaos out towards Banana. Starts things off for the Sinners.
And this is where the checks can just start slowing things down, start playing the mind games, baiting in mistakes, being able to get that molly to the top of sandbags. 2 players on B itself. Could see a boost up to the flower pots or even just a gamble rotation. A shock just being able to keep here up at the apartments itself, hearing that drop down, so just gathering information. He's going to walk. Oh, he gets caught off though.
Didn't see Kindo, brings it back to evens, a 4-on-4. Rotations in with the bomb on the back of B-Stick. Orb of Oscar watching, smokes to cover off cross for AVN. Gonna slow rotate some back up in Collins' AK. On the way here. Smokes to go towards cross, will keep him at bay all the same. What can AVN do to hold off on his lonesome? Is there a smoke towards Coffins? I think there is. It'll come in a little bit late though. Collins already up to position. He's going to hear these footsteps take place in. They do get a kill. Kindo finds one responsive. AVN can do the same. M4 in the back of the site, dealt with in the 2 versus 2. Bomb can get planted here. They're just going to hold off against the retake.
Oh, Oscar, does he preempt the position? They're going to walk through the smoke. Kindo deals the first, not quite the second. And now D's coming in from Banana.
Where is he coming from is the question Neofrag's asking. He has no information to this. An ace in the back pocket for him if he can get this headshot. D recognizes he's going back, playing back at New Box. Incendiary in his position. Flashbang trying to keep him blind. He gets out of dodge, but focuses for the headshot and gets the round together for Sinners.
Jeez, what a sequence coming out for Neofrag. And for D, he recognized the play. The Incendiary goes down to that New Box position, peeks out with it, does as good of a job as possible of making the fight awkward. The tap coming through for the AK. He needs 2 bullets. That's all he needs.
I appreciate how well timed that face-in was from Neofrag as well, because he just got behind the pillar the very moment the flash popped. Had he peeked a little bit later, that would have blinded him. He would have been dead. Real solid timing again from Sinners, and they just prove why they're veterans, why they're considered veterans in the context of this matchup. And the rebuy for 4Glory, having seen so much damage put onto that CT side, sees the AWP, the M4, the FAMAS, those are the entire extent of the CT rifles.
And this is where they've got to be tighter up against the ecos. That you lose 3 players and a bomb plant, you now come forward to losing the next rifle, and well, hang on a minute, we're actually just stuck with money. 3 players up on short side. I appreciate the stack coming through for 4Glory, trying to see if they can make something of this.
Be watching for the T side. Sinners about to lean into the brackets control. Collins ready with the M4 as T's try and draw out 4Glory. They try and bait them in. They hope that someone gets aggressive. It's another stack into this A site thanks to the weapon disadvantage. Only Serenity towards the B player. If they charge now, a Deagle will stand between them and a bomb plant.
They're trying to see if they can just bait a mistake forward. They're seeing some util out to the B side. Collins is being pulled for a loop. That's the mistake, isn't it?
D can respond towards it. Zedko gets his own trade back, but AVN again playing inside that quad position, not detected, and therefore you get a tray. Meanwhile, B-Stick starts walking in to try and deal with Serenity. No head Kevlar on that Deagle, so could be an easy enough kill back. AWP trying to get here for D. The smoke starts to clear. That bomb gets sent over. It's dropped in the open, and D sees what's going on 13 seconds ago. Check this back corner, and Serenity gets Beastie as he has his back turned of his own right. Flash is coming over. Neofrag completely blinded. Chance for the Mac 10 to start swinging. The Deagle's still in his hands. He switches out to that Mac 10 to try to get the kill in time, but either way, they're out of time. The bomb plant can't come in time. 4Glory going to run it down to 0, and they'll take the 9th round.
That's very well played for 4Glory to just get those rotations in quickly. The bait setup comes through fantastically for the T side. They bring it back to a 3v3. They have the idea that B side's relatively opened up. That bomb does not get dropped or passed over correctly, and Serenity just so much time wasting going on from the back of the site itself. Just being able to pull as much of the distraction as possible, set that boost up for the flower pots, get 4Glory up to 9. And I look at this with the intent of any time a team can get double digits in this kind of competition up against Sinners, that's an achievement in itself. That's very doable here for 4Glory.
What was looking like they could have lost their map pick in a one-sided fashion is starting to turn into a decent showing here for this team. 11-9. Sinners in control for now, but that might start to change here as the CTs continue to ramp up the pressure. 2 rounds to the difference. With an AWP and an AK on this hero buy. Half invest for everyone else, upgrade pistols, not even Kevlar for most of the individuals.
Yeah, they do have the AWP and the AK though, so even though there's not a lot of support around it, there's still that firepower and that weaponry advantage that they can work with to do damage. The D bringing that AWP over to the B side. I haven't really seen him playing out on B too often.
They've mostly been in with A stacks of the strategy for 4Glory. Collins going to get flashed over. Looks for Neo frag. Kill found against the man. Orp lands a leg. The nature finish off Beastic. That's exactly what it does. 5 on 3 as Sinners do get ripped apart. They've already lost that AK as well. It could get picked up in theory, but that bomb does not want to commit towards that. And Oscar's got the AWP already. Mars and M4 into the crossfire. Utility on. Seen as individuals. AVN gets his pick on, and the second player also caught. Oscar with the AWP. 1 versus 5. Gets that first. Will not find a second.
Now, 4Glory getting up to 10 and being able to keep a double AWP set up forward. I wonder how they use this, because they don't exactly have that many players that go for double AWP setups. It's not really a part of the whole sort of strat book for 4Glory. I guess when an opportunity presents itself to get double AWPs for free, you're going to take it. A great hold coming through from AVN, and Collins, the in-game leader, seems to be picking it up.
First time we've seen double AWP setups today. He's looking in towards mid as Collins trying to take the honours of the B-site defensive. We mentioned that D doesn't go towards that B-site very often, and now he has no need to go there now. Smokes on for pressure involved towards that mid-control. Sinners walk their way forward into the woodstack corner. Neo frag. Having eyes set here, the CTs flash their way in towards short. Avians again got Kindo out here. The flashback still keeps him blind. They can get a kill regardless of it. Shot trade as Kindo responds and now looks for his double up. Meanwhile, Sereni's holding out towards the open position and long. Beastic has no idea. Sinner's being played for fools. Another 1v4 for Neo frag. And this is getting out of hand now.
It absolutely is. This setup out to the brackets on short side is super deadly for 4Glory. They're peeking on each other really well. They're getting some good util. Even the walk forward for the long spoke is just unexpected by the T's. And Neofrag just trying to hope that he can find something to the round. The peak comes forward. And they're just playing with a lot of confidence. Sereni getting a couple of kills. AK's being recovered. Sinners need to probably take a tactical soon, because this is starting to look very scary up against a team that really shouldn't have the chance of upsetting on map 1. $11 apiece for Glory on their map pick, to their credit, so can't be too far out of the realm of possibility, but it's still a very awkward time. Oscar finds the pick onto D. Headshot into the Deagles and a half buy around, the definitive half buy this time with head Kevlar and all. Oh,
and another Deagle shot for Oscar. This is starting to really get going for Sinners. Can 4Glory manage to mount up a comeback?
Jeez, what is this? Oscar just taking dry peaks out from sort of deep in T-spawn onto the AWPer, then going aggressive and catching another. That's AVN fallen. Collins going to put the incendiary down to the top of Banana. Going to start peeking with it. Only one player though. It's misinformation.
Offset in, not blind firing, can't connect anything here. AK set for the boost. Does get red, and Beastic and Neofrag can deal with them both. All left to Kindo. 1v4, well out of dodge, well out of sight.
Ah, that's unfortunate. That's really the chance that 4Glory have got of being able to get a lead, start really mowing with that confidence, and now what just happens, it just gets taken away by some fantastic Deagle shots. Even the hunt coming through, Kindo's making so much noise, a chance that the AWP's going to drop, timing is going to be everything for Zedco. Oh, this kill's got to come in. You have to imagine. So, yeah, up close and personal, easy pick for the Deagle. How much they've been able to gain. They got double AWPs for free and an AK for free.
Plenty for free, plenty in this round, plenty of control. Sinners right back into the lead as a result of it, equalised only for a moment. The 4Glory have proven that they have the strategies here on the CT side to beat out the Sinners. Double AWP's pretty unorthodox here for the T side line. It's going to get challenged by D directly on scope. Looking in for the 1 pixel he needs, and ABN's already made his way so aggressive, so indeed they do find a responsive play. Beastie going to get sandwiched in again. It's a 4v2 for the 4Glory camp.
Now they know there's an aggressive player down from bottom mid, and D is just waiting for that swing to come in from Shock. All just comes to a matter of timing. Util being used, that's going to siphon off the AWPer. Avian's completely alone. He's got to try and strike, and he's able to do so.
Zedco with 1 pick back, but so much more left in the tank to do here. 3 players to find. They know he's got them suppressed here. 1 minute and 10, so there's time to work with. He's got to isolate each individual fight, and Kindo will give up that first.
It's something to work with in this situation. He's just hoping that he can keep pulling the CTs aggressively. Got a molly and a couple of flashes. Now, there's a way in which you can walk up to the apartments and just start to spring out into the open. AWP of D is just going back passive. Now he's not keeping eyes on this apartment's position at all. Instead, he's keeping eyes on brackets.
Walking in towards apps. Can't get a free bomb plant from here. The concern is always going to be that retake. Another AWP clutch for the Sinners side. Could be everything. 25. Need to walk up here, get that bomb plant down. Here on the shutter doorway. And they'll know what's coming in. D on rotate. AWP going to check out long. Shorts completely unaccounted for. A flashbang. Try and keep that player at bay, but it's evaded, so D can continue walking in. Zedko's back's turned. As he turns around right now, he's going to check out all of long, clear all that position, and now look toward the site. Timing's perfect. Sees the one individual. Sees Collins, gets that frag. Flashbang back over against D. Bomb not in the open for this cubby corner, I don't think. Yeah, covered off by the pillar face in D. Walk out, knife in, and there comes the kill. The defuse actually is going to be a little bit close, but I think he's got it here. This will be a top for 4Glory as they equalize against Sinners again.
A great retake coming through for D. For a moment there, you feel as if Zedko's isolated the picks pretty effectively. Get back onto the bomb, get it defused, tie up the scoreline. And for 4Glory, it comes down to being composed in that last situation of the round. Drops down Zedko from the apartment silently, gets into the site, tries to isolate the 1v1s. Doesn't quite happen completely. 4Glory, money's not really looking that great, is it? Yeah, they've won the round. In terms of the reset, though, it doesn't bode that well.
12 apiece. Sinners might not have been expecting this one to go down to the wire as they were, as they've led it here. A tactical timeout coming in from 4Glory at this stage. A moment's respite to continue to keep themselves on track. They know that Sinners have done a ton of damage. There's probably a bomb plant bonus on the table, so there should be an investment from the T's. To continue bringing out these strategies, and they've been really unorthodox here. When the Sinners start getting a beat onto what 4Glory are doing?
They're difficult to read. They're playing quite silent CS. They're peeking on each other really well. They're making a lot of risky plays, pushing through smokes and trying to catch them off guard, which they are doing a decent job of doing so. So the read's going to be tough to continue forward for Sinners and just try and see if they can focus on playing their own game rather than adjusting to what's happening on the other side. And for 4Glory, the last time on HLTV, they actually won Inferno against a non-Baltic team. So that's a North Macedonian or a Serbian or an Albanian team. It was actually Little Mix back in April this year in a Flashpoint Open qualifier. When they face off against the European teams, they struggle on this map.
The struggles continue throughout this one. 4Glory up to take a lead, still with a bit of an awkward buyback in to our 25th round. Famas in for one individual, M4s, AWPs, of course AKs across the entire Sinners board. They're not going to opt to drop AWP on Oscar. Beefit could have afforded it, opted against it. Neofrag is going to face straight forward and it's going to be responded to by a simple spray and nade counteraction. Sinners full set into the B rush, the bomb's been dropped for it. It's all going to ride for the T side.
Oh, excellent. Could not have done that any better. Sinners trying to get some pace forward, trying to accelerate up to that top banana position, and they just get ripped to shreds from a couple of CT players. Great hold out from Serini. He now even picks up that AWP off from Oscar, and now we're in a bit of a position where, what do you do in that position? Try and win back a 2v5? This is so difficult for Sinners to work.
Shock does at least find a good face on the AWP player. He was low. Smokes on, M4 out, drops the bomb a second time. Oscar left alone, 1v4. Molotov out towards Nubox, did hear those footsteps trying to fake that player in, but meanwhile D's made his way out, sees the shadow, sees the gun barrel, and gets the lead for 4Glory. 13-12, and Sinners, they have not been playing this T side as well here. Only 2 rounds in this half for them.
Yeah, it's been poor when you think about the half that they had moving forward, that they could have just had a chance of running away with it. And instead, a lot of back foot approaches, a lot of decimation. And 4Glory, they're showing some magic. They're playing some good CS on this City side.
Galil's out, AK's, AWP. Sinners. Broken investment, still up against 4Glory, having that one from Arsene for Kindo. It's more of a bonus weapon at this stage. Still making it work with the rest of the main M4s. Randy tries to make his way up towards that banana control, trying to challenge Sinners directly again. It's a bit more of a carefully played default from the T's this time. Fast players are not working for them. They've got to try and get an opening frag.
Yeah, just slow down the defaults after realizing what kind of just destruction there was in that last one when they went fast. Out to the brackets position, we could see the cities retaking it and a chance for the M4 to get boosted up over the top of the long smoke.
Rotations involved. The AWP going to go ahead and join Neofrag. The bomb will get picked up by B-Stick. Shock rotates out of brackets. At the same time, 4Glory rotate to join and bolster the B-site defense. It's all presence held. Gap in that smoke for Serene to look for. Re-smokes on towards the cross and Coffin's position. The first man out is Beast. He could drop that bomb out in the open. Sereni turned into the flashbang. Still gets that kill regardless. Collins, M4 back over towards the pillar position. Gareni's going to end up falling and Zedco doubles up on towards the second player. AWP fires back shot. Meanwhile, will find AV and his D turns on a one frag. Can't deny the bomb planter though. Neofrag going to force him away in a 3-on-2. Rotations cut off by Shock and I think 4Glory might be out of this one.
Even with that pick coming through for D, it doesn't change the outcome of the situation at all. And how does D save? Just stay in construction and just hold back? Because he goes out to CT spawn and he's done. There's just really no way he's going to take that fight onto Shock. Sinners, that time around, it just came down to immediate entries and looking sharp individually. 4Glory, they boosted up over the top of that long smoke, didn't see anything in brackets and thinks to themselves, okay, we'll start a rotation. D even gets caught off. I mean, that was going to happen at some point after the bomb goes down, that he was going to get sandwiched in. There was no way that he could survive. And they work a good read by rotating a couple of players back out to B. Just in terms of damage, not a lot happens from these anchors.
Yeah, they tried their best to hold on, and D just kind of siphoned between the rock and a hard place. Sinners on the site, the lurker already out towards that fountain in the speedway position. The kill coming in effective to allow that 13 apiece scoreline. Tactical pause coming in for 4Glory once again. I believe this is their last one. Using all four on this map to try to get as far as they have, and Sinners still holding contention. The rebuy that should still be on the table. And both sides within 3 of the map win. For Sinners, it would be enough to set us up for the 2-0.
You have to imagine that for 4Glory, this could be on track for the biggest upset this team has ever had. 175th in the world up against a top 20 side. Yeah, it's your map pick. Still to beat them on it, though, is one hell of an achievement. And it feels like they're very close. It feels like they're on the borderline. Honestly, though, in these kind of situations, sometimes the young and inexperienced teams, they buckle under the pressure, don't they?
Most dangerous time to be 4Glory. Face out for Kindo. Orp. Not quite ready for it to smoke in. He does read it, Oscar. That's the kind of thing the veterancy will give you. Understanding that a boost might be in play with that smoke setup. Finds that opening frag and removes one important rifle.
But the CTs don't really smoke brackets early rounds unless they're going for some sort of setup, and that's exactly what comes through. Peek over the top of it. And now Sinners can just start working their default. They are running into the Gamble stack out in brackets, though.
It's not rifles this time, though. It's USPs across most of the board. AVN is the only concern. He hasn't even got Kevlar. Aim punch is going to be a factor for everyone involved at the CT side. Sinners start the campaign over towards the B site. Meanwhile, Beast is just going to walk up without putting any utility or making any noise. Recognizing there's nothing out here, so there may not be anyone on site. Flash in with the smokes up to cross. They're going to play a lurk play. And if you can get access to the B site, clear out those backline corners, and they'll just rotate the bomb.
That's very clever, because they're not really pushing on A. They're jiggle peeking, they're taking some contact, and now going to know that B is completely clear. Zedko's just selling the fake. He's trying to keep them on A, stop them from rotating to B.
Doing a pretty good job at that here. No one's on their way back, and he can start to escape safely as that bomb has made its way up towards main. All angles cleared, footsteps heard. I'll be sticking around to get this AK out of play. Go for the hunt and remove as many from the CD side as possible. Again, to remove AVM will be everything that they want to do here, and now a known entity to the T side line. Leg up shot on Oscar. Doesn't see where D is coming from. And second AK now picked up for Sereni to try and hold into the next one here. And Sinners don't even want to go for it. They're going to hold back and save the AWP in particular. Been tagged up. I think 4Glory can get away with these two guns.
Well, it was cheeky for the first, because for Zedco, obviously you want to keep a lurk on A just to make sure the cities just aren't rotating immediately. They've got Oscar further back, that as soon as he goes down, Oscar is supposed to be there to trade. That was the idea, and the purpose behind it didn't quite work out the way it would have liked. And a couple of rifles get saved in, so for 4Glory, yeah, you're not able to hold back the lead. Knowing the investment that came into that round, you are buzzing with a couple of AKs.
Sinners will still hold the advantage with an all-important round win. And AWP dropped over towards D, an investment around the two rifles with M4s to boot. Khalil still in for shot, playing a bit more of a bonus weapon at this stage. Neo frag, I think, brought the AWP to give to Oscar. Scratch that, he saved that in. He probably just invested into the AK with the Kevlar and utility. D watching out towards that second mid area from apartments. Trying to find an inkling of contact, trying to get that opening frag again for 4Glory.
D is pressing, and I do like the intent of, okay, let's try and get the AWPer to initiate an opening kill. Jeez, we're seeing this gamble stack again. They've done this before, and they're doing it again.
They're going to work out this time. The AK of AVN caught off by Zedco. Shot in with the aggressive force. Are they ready for everyone else? Shot going to work in towards apartments. Flashes over, Serenity takes his face and does get his frag together. Now the rotations are inbound as they've seen nothing else towards mid, and they're making their way up towards Banana. Shot's going to hear rotates, though. He could cut them off.
Yeah, he's got a very good position to bring that bomb back to A. If he can siphon off the apartments player, you've got a boost up coming through from the flower pot. Still a lot of time for Sinners to work with, and Shot gets caught.
D gets his kill, nades back to keep Collins at bay. Oscar going to check out sight, scopes, heard the CTs on the A site are not going to go for the rotate at this moment. They think there might still be some sort of play, some sort of fake involved for Sinners, but no, commitment. Headshot onto the boost spot. Collins gets his trade. 3-on-2. B-Stick turned into 2v2. No smoke to cross here for the last player. He's going to wait back at Banana as the bomb gets planted.
Now, that's okay. Can still deal with Kindo that's coming up from this Banana position. This is a great angle, and for Kindo, how does he expect it and even pre-aim?
He doesn't. Just a swing in from near. Frag gets his frag together, and D's got the AWP in his hands. He needs to save it. And it looks like Sinners will finally get up to the finish line here with a 15-13 to the board of the T side. 4Glory, now with not a lot of cash to work with coming into this, may be in trouble.
And they risked it too hard with that A setup, because what it means is, yeah, you're going to get the early information, and you can start rotating players back off. Look at how they played it, though. Because that boost to the flower pots came in so late, Collins got over to Coffins. They can't play someone in Dark. They can't play someone in New Box. They can't play anyone further into the site itself. First, second, oranges, whatever it may be, because they don't have the information if there's been a walk and they've taken that top Banana control. And for 4Glory, was that the right play? You can't really tell, can you, at the time? It's one of those where you have to make a call, and it's one that is high risk, high reward, and it doesn't pay off.
Small tech pause for 4Glory here as they get their fifth man back in server. Very quickly, Serenity is in play. That all being the basis of this force buy for 4Glory. They need to have an absolute miracle turnaround against the Sinners. Only 2 rounds to get between them, however, so for 4Glory, it's not impossible. It's just going to be very difficult, and like you mentioned, Dwayne, it's at these later stages, these final few moments of this matchup, where the amateur, lesser-known teams, the lesser-tier caliber, will start to crack under the pressure. You can see that happening right now. Sinners, one good execution away from taking their opponent's map pick.
4Glory, it all just comes down to this. Communication's got to be on point, and aggression too. They're taking this Banana control, and so far, they haven't taken any damage. I say that, and a nade comes back onto Collins, so there's some chip with the util.
Perfect timing for Sinners in that respect. A kill in for Shock would also find the opening jewel here. Zedco working out a boiler will catch AVN, looking at the wrong time and the wrong face. D's AWP's also set towards long, and backup has arrived, but they've left the short side completely opened up. They can make their way out through apps, probably overwhelm Collins and get the bomb down.
He needs to make a play of a lifetime. He really doesn't have a lot of support around him. At least D's going to start rotating in from Moto. Peek into the apartment, spot that first player.
That's the starting frag, and the follow-up from D, supporting in a 3v3. Backstabbing, bound towards Banana, but the bomb gets dropped, and the AKZ Co can trade it. 2v2. Knows there's a player at pit, someone's going to get back up towards Abs, and Sereni's on his way back in with the SMG. Flash forward, 1 kill back for Collins. Neo frag up to clutch it here. He's got a weapon advantage, but Sereni has HP above the man. AK got to get that head together, and that's exactly what he'll do. 16-13, and Sinners will finally close out map 1 in this best